Welcome to the D&D world.
Hello everybody, this is Dave on CRPG Dungeons & Dragons Night on YouTube and CRPG D&D Night on Twitch. And tonight, I am just relaxing. I'm not going to play any games tonight. Well, I might if I get talked into it. But right now, we're going to be looking back on some of my old videos that I started off the channel on YouTube with. And maybe give a little insight on what I was thinking and why that particular game at the time. Recently, I had gotten rid of several of the older videos that I considered trash. I mean by trash as in the recording was terrible, you could barely hear me, or stuff like that. For instance, I am considering getting rid of these, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I want to come back and play them again. But we'll look at that in a minute. This is actually the very first video I started about 2 years ago, which was put on this channel. But it originally started on a separate channel altogether called Olrum Grey Wolf, and that was a channel that was roughly dedicated to Elder Scrolls game, particularly Elder Scrolls Online. The channel is still there. I still have a link to it on this channel, but on the YouTube channel. But what ended up happening was, well, here, let me bring up the screen here so you can see it better. Come on. There you go. Oh, come on. Yeah, the little arrows just not cooperating. There we go. Okay. Now you should see it just fine. And there. Okay, so we got this one right here, which is technically my very first video, but it was brought to the channel much later. I already had quite a few videos on the playlist here. Playlist being, all the videos that are on here, not the actual playlists. But it was the first video I made. It was just I'd say it was just within the day of the first re-release of the Gold Box games on Steam. And I was kind of talking about it, and I was thinking about at the time of doing the channel. So here, we'll take a look at it real quick.
Hey everyone, this is Dave. About a week or two ago, I came across something rather exciting on
I guess it was
Steam.
about a week or two ago.
The re-release of the original Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Gold Box games.
Well, it shows how much
pretty
my
much all of them,
memory goes, doesn't it?
There might be a few missing out of the collection, but they got a pretty good number of titles here from the Eye of the Beholder trilogy, and let's see, the Pool of Radiance series.
Aki Garu 87. I'm actually doing a look back on a lot of my older videos right now. Hope you're interested.
At the time.
I'm also going to talk about other things, but yeah, this was the first video I made,
from, Dragonlance.
And it was on a different channel called Olrum Grey Wolf. The channel's still there, but there's really nothing on it. I think there's like a video on it.
I haven't bought,
but I haven't really added to it in quite a long time.
They also got Dark Sun,
and then I started this channel. I just pretty much went full bore on CRPG Dungeons & Dragons Night.
But
I don't think I actually started doing streaming until about I think it was like the middle of last year.
But at the time, I didn't have a computer.
By the way,
and being
if you ever want me to change the subject, or you have an idea that I could talk about, red means I change the subject, or you like the subject you're on and want to continue on it, and blue means you want me to change the subject to something else, and you can even suggest the subject at hand.
Eventually, I might start.
And by the way, HP, MP.
They're going to be. They're definitely going to be.
So you don't have to say red or blue. It's HP and MP.
What's the term I'm looking for? Anyways,
well, you can tell this is actually my first time talking on not on camera, but just on voiceover whatsoever. And you can kind of tell I was kind of nervous talking.
Or an RPG nowadays, I should say. there is a
Of
little
course,
bit
I
more
always sound like I'm
complication
nervous
because
on
they
here.
had a lot more
Hey, Arts and Crafts.
what do
Hey,
you
and
call it,
Exotic Slayer
commands and
13.
controls and statistics to
Oh,
go
I'm
with
actually
than
getting a
they do
nice little turnout
nowadays.
tonight. Cool.
And because these were the
But
pioneering
what's
days
going
of
on is
RPG games.
I
They were
explained, but I can
these were the
explain again and
originals.
again
These
and
were
again.
the times
However
when
many
they were still
times
trying to
people
figure out
show
how
up,
to
I can
put
re-explain it.
games like Dungeons and
I am
Dragons
looking
onto a
back on
computer.
some of my older
You
videos
started
right
with
now.
Wizardry,
I'm going to
Bard's
be
Tale,
doing other stuff
Ultima,
tonight, but
and then
right now I'm looking at older
AD&D
videos.
or Advanced
This
Dungeons
is
and
my very
Dragons.
first video for
Excuse me.
a previous
Actually
channel,
tried throwing
but
their
it was
hand into
referring
it.
to the fact that I was going to
So
be playing D&D games.
let's
I
see what
later
we got here
transferred
on
it to
just the
here.
menus alone.
But me, it was just talking about the
You
gold
got
box games. They had just been released
controls,
within a
clue
couple of
books,
weeks before
manuals.
I did this video.
Uh,
And I believe that was
I have
about
no idea
4
what
years
that
ago
means.
when
I'll
this
have to look
particular
this all
channel
up.
actually started.
Import
Even though
artists,
it
'cause,
listed as 2 years.
back in the day,
So pretty much
you
all the
could,
videos before
because a
this
lot
was
of the games
finally
were
put
very
up on this channel
small
are all
in
gone.
comparison to how they can be built now. You had they had the crazy option of allowing you to take characters you've made in one game,
And yeah, by
and when
the
you
way, I
completed
never
that game, you could
scripted
transfer them
anything.
to the next game
I
and
can never
continue
go by a
exactly where
script
you
because
left
then it
off
sounds like I'm
their
faking.
with their statistics. I believe Wizardry kind of
Because I
started
tried
this.
doing the thing where
Ultima,
I
I
was going to
think,
talk about
also did
my
this on a few
Dungeons and
occasions,
Dragons
and I'm not
escapades
quite
and
sure
stuff with my
about
friends. But every time I tried to
Bard's
do it
Tale.
as a script,
Now,
I
I do
sounded
believe Bard's
robotic
Tale
or I
did that.
sounded like I was half
From what I
asleep or
understand,
bored.
Bard's Tale had a re-release a few
And you could
years
tell
ago
it
that I
sounded like
wasn't
I was
aware
reading
of,
from
and
something.
that was another game series I wanted to try. So we'll look into that later on.
But at this time, if you look, I really
We're not going
haven't
to do any
purchased
playing today
all the
because
things. I
right
had just
now I'm just
purchased
kind of
like
interested in what I have at the moment.
3 of the.
The listing on Steam actually
I had
didn't
purchased
give me
only
a
some
full
of
list of what
the
was in collection
gold,
2,
the Forgotten Realms
because
ones.
it didn't
Excuse
mention
me.
Hillsfar, I
Forgotten
don't
Realms. I had
think,
purchased all 3 of them, and I
and it
was
didn't
deciding whether or
mention
not to purchase the
Treasures
rest,
of Savage Frontier.
which I ended up doing.
When it came to Pools of Radiance, it was the very first one, so I'm obviously going to play that one first, and then it went to Curse of the Azure Bonds,
Okay, so I'm gonna
Secret
go ahead
of
and
the
skip
Silver
on to the
Blade,
next video.
Pools of Darkness, and that was 4.
Back over here. It's gonna take it like an hour to get over here. But yeah, this is my oldest. But yeah, these are some of my earliest videos. These ones were actually re-edited because apparently there was a problem with them that I didn't know about until way later. So I re-released them without commercial breaks and all that. So they're very janky. I might play these Chronicles of Mystara again at a later time. If I can convince my cousin to join me again, because 2 of the videos I'm playing with my cousin and the other times I'm by myself. I think these are... I don't think they're on here anymore. Let's go ahead and listen in. And I think the main problem with him is you can barely hear me. My cousin's name is CJ. He periodically pops up in my videos. Not very often, though, because he just recently got married and he has a job. You can tell I was using a different font at the time. And it said Leper Wolf, which I changed the name to Ulrich Grey Wolf when I tried to bring up Elder Scrolls again. And this is the earliest version of my opener, in which case I was using animation from various old movies. I'm surprised I never got in trouble for it. So yeah, there's some heavy metal. I think there's Wizards, Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon, a couple of other things. But yeah, I really didn't. I didn't have enough game footage to use just yet, and it would be a while before I actually used my own game footage. So I was using this animation as kind of a
Hi, this is Dave
as
again.
kind of a starting point.
Dungeons and Dragons.
But I always had this idea of
This
doing
is
an opener.
Old arcade games. But this is from Chronicles of Mystara.
Yeah, you can hear me sort of, but it's like it took. Yeah. And the funny thing is I do use tiny clips a lot of the time, but I still get in trouble for them regardless nowadays. I used Weakling because this is like the first time I played this game since like the 90s.
Represented standard characters, your elf.
Yeah, I can hear me, but I can just barely hear me. I'm kind of mumbling through this one. We're gonna back out of here real quick. Sometime today would be nice, thank you. Actually, I should just do a break of screen and just go to the next one. Okay, so yeah, then we went through. So a lot of these early ones, CJ's in, I think, is in Shadow of the Star Part 2. Yeah, I think his episodes that he was on with me are gone, but we did play Gauntlet together, Slayer Edition, and
your dungeon master has placed you in dream.
Yeah, still the older videos. This is when I actually started using the gameplay, because at that time I thought I had played enough different games to actually warrant using it. And of course I was using the old 1983 commercial in it as well. You can kind of see that I was, yeah, the old Dungeons & Dragons cartoon title card.
Level. And apparently recording on this is really, really, really slow. Just getting it running. Okay, there you go. And
yeah, this is just me figuring out how to get CJ on here.
Yeah,
so we can
play to play, not to remote stream.
And that's CJ right there.
Okay, now what do you want to play as?
I guess I'll try the wizard.
Okay, then I'll just stick with the warrior then.
Warrior.
Obviously don't have any.
Jesus. That's the most intimidating looking wizard I've ever seen in a game.
Spells, balance, index, damage, defense, and control.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. That's a pretty buff wizard right there.
Years of drinking might get you a rough exterior, but worse still, it might get you kicked out of the Order of the Crystal Tower. So that's why he looks like that.
Ah. He's a heavy drinker.
Yeah, Merlin's favorite cape that he wore on the day of his expulsion from the Order. Which random stuff, and okay.
And you can kind of hear us a little better in this one too, compared to the other one. Yeah, I may do the arcade games here again soon. I might even play it on here
the game actually
as a
just
stream.
told me not to drink and drive.
Magnificent!
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I know, right? Yeah, I saw him and thinking, that is the most intimidating wizard I've ever seen in my life. He looks like he can beat me in arm wrestling. Okay. This one I actually talk about the first CRPG I ever played. And I can still tell you about it right now. It was a game called, well, it wasn't technically a CRPG. It was a text adventure kind of a thing. And it was called Madness and the Minotaur. And I think I found footage of it on YouTube on one video. And it was on a Tandy color computer I played it on. And of course, Tandy color computers weren't exactly known for their graphics at the time. And those were made by Radio Shack. Here's the first time I actually started bringing Miley into my videos. And here's a different one. What the? I hate it when it does that. Hold on. The screen's tweaking. Alright, let's try that again. Still doing it. Okay, what gives? There we go. Alright, just doesn't want to do a second screen for some reason. Today would be nice. Start it over again. Yeah, I was using Dungeon Master there for the beginning of the opening, which I used later on towards the beginning of this year until I abandoned the music. Yeah, for a while we were CJ and I were playing Dungeons and Dragons online.
Hey everyone, this is Dave on CRPG Dungeons and Dragons Night. And no, I'm not the cat. The cat is Miley. She is my roommate,
Oh,
my
yeah.
friend, and according to her, my wife. So
Yeah, this cat thinks she's my
whenever
wife.
you're hearing me talking
She's
about
very
Miley,
bossy
this
with
is
me
her.
and
And she's got a little
very
bit of a story.
territorial.
I've had her for about 12 years. And
But then she doesn't have an enemy in the world, go
go
figure.
Apartment complex, and my neighbors, one of them happened to be my ex-girlfriend, asked me to keep an eye on her cat, which was Miley here.
Anyway, so that's the very first appearance of her on my channel. Even though I'd been mentioning her off and on throughout, but that's the first time she actually made an appearance in a video. Let's see. Oh, it looks like I got a bunch of videos up on my channel now to watch later. Here's my first convention. Treasures and trinkets, I still bring it back periodically whenever I have anything worth... Good Lord, look at that hair. Oh, she's an angel. She's not in here right now. She's keeping Dad company because he's not feeling well. Oh, I'm letting it grow out. And here's another different opening I had. It was like, I think like every 4 to 5 months I'd change the opening. Until more recently, it was like, I think I had the opening for about 6 months before I switched it up last year. And then, of course, at the beginning of this month, I switched it over like 3 or 4 times before I finally settled on the one I got right now. And it was mainly due to the music.
Welcome to the D&D world.
Which, thanks to Daffy Duck, again, for the music. I hang out on his channels periodically. God, I miss having that hair.
I didn't think this.
And I was a security guard at the time. There's the old den. You can see the D&D books directly behind me. The Hellraiser box. Just behind me, I think, is the Cup of Christ from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That this one showed up on St. Patrick's Day of all days. New T-shirt.
I gotta find that one. That's around somewhere.
Mary
and Pippin's Weed Shop.
South Farthing's established 3/21. Well, I'm going to be wearing this on the episode. I got more shirts.
I wouldn't call it a horror movie. It was more like horror fantasy as far as I was concerned, which doesn't detract at all.
A couple of other things I've ordered, but I got 3 more
And you can
shirts
tell that
one of them
I'm surprised that you guys can even hear me talking right now. But yeah, the mic on this computer, when it just depends on the program I'm using, and the program I was using at the time sucked.
I ain't gonna fit that for the life of me.
Now I'm wondering if I play this back on my own channel, if I'm going to get cited for using my own footage. And you can see the bags under my eyes.
I had a little issue with my computer there.
Because at the time I wasn't getting that much in the line of sleep because I was working graveyard shift pretty much. And then I have to get up during the day to do stuff because everything's closed at night. So me getting a bunch of the shirts I would wear later on. You'd see me wearing them a lot. This is actually my dad's shirt I'm wearing right now, saying Papasaurus Rex. I'm wearing it because he can't fit it anymore. It shrunk on him.
That over there. And finally we got
But yeah, I started doing these treasures and trinkets things because at the time it was really popular that people were doing unboxings of stuff, which I still do them periodically. Later this summer I'm planning on one because the product isn't out yet. It's the Phantasy Star TTRPG. And when it comes out, and I'm expecting my copy to show up, it's coming in a box and it's going to have different things in it. So of course I'm going to open. I know I'm looking this way instead of at the camera. Sorry about that. But it's mainly because I'm looking at what you guys are saying on the screen over here. But and making sure that the video's playing all right.
Thanks for watching.
But I'm expecting that, so that's definitely going to be a box opening that I'm going to do. If I pick up anything, say like at
It's about halfway through the day. The other portion of the video was
one of the
that's
conventions I go to, and I pick up a box or something, which I've done a few times, I'll do a separate video of if there's enough stuff. I'll do a separate video where I'll do a box opening and I'll show off the stuff I picked up at the. But if it's just like a couple of things, I make it part of the main video. Oh, look, Robert Englund. You can kind of tell I was still getting comfortable with using the camera at the time. And you can also tell I was rather self-conscious of... what part? Oh yeah, about unboxings. Yeah, I still periodically do them, but I don't do them as often as I used to. I used to get you can see the boxes right there behind me, up against the dresser right there. Those are all from a Dungeon Crate, and they still have the items in them. Well, most of them anyway. And I got like about 30 of them over there. And I was doing it for quite a while on this channel, but then because of budget constraints, I had to stop. So I wasn't doing them monthly like I used to. This is the only time I did a review. And I ad-libbed the entire thing. I would say something, stop, play it back to listen to it. If I liked it, I used it. If not, I got rid of it and do another one. Where he reads stories, he even has a reading of the Hellbound Heart up there. I used to have a copy of the Hellbound Heart. That was why the only reason why I wasn't upset when they said they made Pinhead a woman. And that was because in the novelization, or I shouldn't say novelization, but the novella that it came from, it was he was described as sexless, but having feminine qualities, and having a male and having what sounded like a male voice. But this is the only time I did a review of anything, and this was for the Wizardry anime, which you can find online. It's on YouTube. Still me with the long hair, and here I am sporting the headset for the first time.
CRPG Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, not for the first time,
a
but
little something different tonight. We're going to talk about
earliest times I used it. That's cool.
I am Morley,
Come
the
on,
wizard, introducing you to adventure.
Okay, for some reason, whenever I go to a second screen, which has never been an issue before, it's having a problem. If I do it on the main screen, everything's okay.
Hello everyone, this is Dave on CRPG Dungeons and Dragons tonight. I'm going to do a little something different tonight. We're going to talk
That might
about
be why it's so quiet.
I am am Morley, the wizard, introducing you to adventure.
And we got a different opener again. I just like that tunnel animation from the toy commercial. So I kept using it for a while. And there's those trolls and ogres that was always giving me issues on Full of Radiance. I'll be right back, guys. We'll come back to this in just a minute. I just got called away.
Dungeons and Dragons will return after these messages.
Look, an adventuring party is gathering. We have a spellcasting wizard and a cunning rogue, a brave fighter and skilled ranger, a mighty cleric and musical bard. Off, no doubt, on a daring rescue or to solve ancient riddles. Maybe a quest for magical treasure or to defeat a deadly foe. They will make stories with friends that can be told for years to come. Your party is gathered. Now do your best. Adventure together on an epic quest.
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my god, everybody's talking to each other. I heard of this anime, I watched a lot of old ones. So, who's excited about the Minecraft movie? I'm not. Because I never played Minecraft. Lexi, the oldest, her husband plays it. I think Autumn plays it, my middle one, and I don't know about the others. And their significant, the youngest and her significant other. But I do know they play it periodically. Hold on just a second. By the way, if you go to archives.org, I could probably show it to you, since I do have it on my YouTube channel. Or not my YouTube channel, but I do have it on here. Oh, there it is. Check this out. I don't have it on the screen yet because I don't want you guys looking at the particular addresses that I have on here. That might get me in trouble for using them. Because they're rather adult-oriented, and yes, I do watch adult stuff. I'm an adult. I can do what I want. But here you go. You got Record of Lotus War. These are translated, the Contique magazine, which has the, basically shows you how to play Dungeons and Dragons by Japan standards, and it also has a few, for instance, Parn from the anime is completely different from the way he is in their light novel. He's almost a troublemaker. And shows little to no interest in Deedlit because Deedlit's played by a man. Oh, you gotta take off, Exotic Slayer? And that actually came on early just for you, man. I don't know. I wasn't expecting email. Alright, so... Well, you take care, man. Don't get in any trouble, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. That's quite a big list, actually, so, you know. And that's something I wish I could do right now. Yeah, my mom passed away back in 2019, just a couple of months after my grandmother passed away. So, yeah, I know. So, tell you what, guys, if you ever go to Oakhurst near Yosemite, as you're going up 41, there is this small cemetery. If you're coming from Yosemite and you're going down the hill and you go by the cemetery, you'll see two headstones, both of them saying Hayes on them, and they're doubles, both doubles. Those are my grandparents and my mother. And eventually my dad's going to be there too. I feel for you, man. My mom, for last few years of her life, she was at the a rest home that was just a mile and a half from where I live, and I would walk over there. What did I do with myself? Okay, 2 more to go.
Welcome to bonus day.
If you're wondering what I'm doing, I have 6 different flavors of water flavoring here. And we're going to decide, in D&D terms, what they're supposed to be. 2 are fairly obvious. The other ones, not so much, and I would like your guys' input on it. If I drink all of these tonight, I'm definitely going to be visiting the bathroom more than I planned to today. Okay, so... anyway, back to lighter notes. Yeah, you got the thing here. This is actually a good read. I actually thumbed through it. The only reason I'm not going to read it on my channel is because copyright issues might be a thing. Because I do know that if I was to read one of the... what did I do with it? There we go. If I was to do any of the novels here, that, you know, the Forgotten Realms ones that I plan on doing, which, by the way, I'm about... a third of the way into the book. Finally, since I got these babies. So I might be coming by with a book report sooner than expected. Anyway, so we got 6 of these here. Oh, and by the way, also mentioning Lotus War. I did a video a while back where I talked about it on chat, but well, actually, it was a live stream on it, but anyway, one of my anyway on YouTube. So mentioning Lotus War, I think I got them all. Yeah, I got them all. All right, so I got all these DVDs here. You guys might be interested in. No, they're not for sale, but in case you guys were. Oh, I just can't show the text. Okay, so I could throw a picture up here or something, and then I could read it. I might actually do that. All right, so yeah, I got Lotus War, Record of Lotus War, the first series. I actually bought them back when they were on VHS. This one and the sequel series, which was a TV series, and a OVA that was kind of like an epilogue to the Record of Lotus War. So yeah, there's this one, and I consider this one of the best examples of a D&D cartoon, other than the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, which I have that as well. I wish I had the old red box version that they had, because that one had a scenario in it that you could play, and I actually rewrote it a little bit so I could actually put it with my campaign. But so we got Record of Lotus War right here. It's a 2-disc set, 13 episodes, which it's kind of weird how they did that. The first episode kind of drops you right in the middle of everything. So they're at a drawer tunnel and they fight a dragon and all that stuff. But then the first episode drops back to how they met and all that stuff. So it's kind of weird how they did that, but I think it was so they could kind of draw you in, kind of a thing. So there's that. Bring this out too, just for funsies. Then of course you got Record of Lotus War, Chronicles of the Heroic Knight, which was a TV series in Japan. Look how many discs are in this one, and I think it's about six episodes each disc, so it makes it about 24 episodes, I believe, 24, 25, somewhere around there. And it does a retelling of the last 4 or 5 episodes of the OVA, and then it goes into its own story where it has new characters and stuff like that. Saturn Lotus War. If I can get it to play, I'll definitely give it a shot. If I can get it to play, because I've never played Saturn, so we'll give it a shot. Not many people know this, but Legend of Crystania is written by the same guy that wrote Record of Lotus War. And it's in the same world, but it picks up on a different island. One of the characters from the original thing or 2 of the characters from the original show is in this. And there's mentionings of one of the villains from the original thing. But yeah, but just to warn you, this is depressing as hell. Because you have, just the movie alone, they kill a dog, a horse, a guy's entire family. And then he's being tempted by an evil god to give himself over to him. And that's the plot of this one. And it kind of continues off on this one, which was an OVA, and it's in three parts. But yeah, and the animation isn't as good as, say, like Record of Lotus War, the first Record of Lotus War, or even the TV series. But you can definitely tell. And yeah, they even, because of translations, they kind of changed the names up a little bit, because it was a different company that produced this one. And then finally, you got this one, which is a straight-up comedy. It's a fantasy comedy called Rune Soldier. And it's a full-blown series. I think there's about 24, 25, maybe even 26 episodes. And it's about this wizard that joins this group of all-females adventurers. And they hate him. Because he sucks. He sucks as a wizard because he constantly wants to brawl. He brings out he breaks his wand using it for a club. And they immediately want to fire him after that, so he's got to go on an adventure to get a new wand. So he prefers fighting than he does magic, but he's being trained to be a wizard. And like I said, the girls can't stand him. They think they hate his guts. And finally, even though this isn't really related to Lotus or any of those by any means whatsoever, I do like this one. It's called Ruin Explorers. And you could definitely tell there's some D&D influence in this one because you have all your archetypes in it. But then they go a little crazy with it. But one of the magic users, she has to resort to being a fighter because anytime she uses magic, she gets turned into a mouse. Yeah, you heard me correctly. She gets turned into a mouse. And her partner is this blonde girl right here, is a squirrel girl. And probably one of the most powerful magic users in the show. And then you got another magic user. You got a merchant with a I wouldn't say a talking dog, but a dog that's a little bit smarter than what a dog should be. And then you got the standard male fighter in the group. And then you also have a prince that's involved with the plot itself that starts up by the second episode. But it's a pretty good one. It has a lot of stuff in it. It has my favorite thing in any D&D setting, a tavern setup. Oh, I got Tom the... That's not a very nice thing to call yourself. Tom the Moron? And we also got a few Raffiana. Oh, we got 3 people. Am I being rated? I don't think I am. So yeah, I just got a couple new people on here. Cool. Where's that goes back there? But I got this little odd entity right here called Scourge of Worlds, a Dungeons and Dragons adventure. This is basically, hey, Raffiana and Tom DeMoran. Actually, I'm going to be playing a little game with these with you guys, so we'll figure it out once we get to that. But you got Scourge of Worlds here. This is basically a choose-your-own-adventure. But it's done in the fashion of, a movie. It has segments. You like juicy games. Well, there's no alcohol involved, unfortunately. If I did that, I wouldn't survive the evening. But we'll go ahead and get started with this now since I'm now being asked about it.
Welcome to bonus day.
Okay. When I first started, I was going to be a joke with, this is, your HP potion, and this is your MP potion. So what would these other ones be? We got a pink one here, purple, or dark gray, I can't really tell, green, and orange. Now, out of these 4, what would we call them? What would we call the pink one? Green one is poison? How many agrees with that one, that this is being poisoned? Because I was kind of leaning towards that too, so, if I drink this one, I'll drop dead, but, Orange is Oompa Loompa. I wouldn't know what Oompa Loompa would taste like, but this is actually, it's orange, but in D&D terms, what would it be? In Dungeons & Dragons terms, what would it be? Okay, so pink is for strength. Neutralizing poison or strength. Pink strength. Yeah, people are going with pink for strength. Okay. Pink is strength. Okay, I gotta write this stuff down so whenever I do one of these drinks on my channel when I'm playing games and stuff, I'll say exactly what it is so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, I'll be drinking it out of this so you wouldn't be able to see the color, but... So we go... Red, HP... blue, obviously that's MP. Now, is green poison or cures poison? actually, this isn't juice, it's water flavoring. And these are all Skittles flavors. Okay, all cures. Okay, yeah, cures. Everybody's agreeing with cures. I do like juice though. Whenever I go to a restaurant, even if I'm having coffee, I'll still order orange juice. I like feet. You know what? I'm going to do something right here. Here, so now I can see what you guys are saying. Orange juice is divine. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Also, let's see, so we said pink was what again? Purple is lightning resistance. That sounds about right. Let's see. Orange is strength. No, pink was strength. Pink was strength. And finally we got orange, and what is orange again? And not Oompa Loompa. Stamina. Okay. Okay, so red is HP, obviously. Blue is MP. Green cures poison. Purple, lightning resistance. Pink is strength, and orange is stamina. Actually, I do like apple juice. I don't drink it as often, though, because it's too damn expensive to get nowadays. Orange is steroids, pretty much. But I'm not going to drink these all tonight. I'm actually going to drink one, but I'm going to put the rest in the fridge so they get cold. For you guys that don't know, normally my channel is I'm playing old CRPGs, like Pool of Radiance. Well, I got the list right here. Final Fantasy, Realms of Arcania, Wizardry, Legends of Amberland, which is one of my newer games on here, Forgotten Realms, and Order of the Griffin. I lean more towards the D&D games than I do anything else, but I also bring in other games that have the D&D flavor or have a lot of influences from D&D. See if I can squeeze that over. Okay. There we go. So, yeah, now it looks a little bit like my old screen, but anyway. This weekend, it looks like I am going to be going to the Renaissance Fair on Sunday. That's over in Visalia, so I'm going to go check that out. I'll put the video up on my YouTube channel as usual. So that's a big thing I'm looking forward to. Let's see here. What was I looking at? Oh, yeah. Bonding time with parents. Yeah, usually when I'm pushing around Dad in the wheelchair, that's our bonding time. You know, I'm going to lower myself so I don't look so with my head chopped off at the top. Don't think we need to know that. up there for now. I think the worst that my parents ever did to me was, well, I did I think I was like 6 or 7 at the time, and I got really scared watching this show with and I was at my grandparents' out in the country. I have grandparents at the time. They had this 2-story house, and I hated going there. I didn't mind during the day, but I hated staying the night there. And it was mainly because I had the bathrooms were like in these most awkward places. So I ended up going downstairs one time to go to the bathroom, and I was holding it so long I ended up peeing myself. Like I said, I was like 6 or 7. And my grandmother caught me, and she says, if you don't tell your parents when you go home, I'll tell them. Well, apparently she had forgotten about it by then, but I was so, I was honest at the time, and I went and told my parents, just tell us the truth and it won't be so bad. Well, I show up and I said I peed myself last night because I was holding it so long that when I finally was able to go to the got up enough strength to go to the bathroom, I ended up peeing myself. So what ended up happening was they sent me to my room. Obviously, that's fine. But this was the worst punishment I ever thought happened to me. Now, mind you, I've been spanked with the belt. I got the switch. I got all that stuff happen to me. Nothing compared to this. My dad walks in and he says, starts eating. He has a Snicker bar in his hand. He opens it up. He starts eating it. He says, "We were saving this for you." And then just continues eating it and walks away. And I was just like, because of a 6-year-old, you had a candy bar for me, and you go and eat it in front of me as punishment. And I was like, that. I thought that was the cruelest thing my parents ever did. Mango. One I like to drink is kiwi strawberry. Whenever I get around to that. Yeah, my parents did psychological warfare with me. It wasn't like, because after a while, I guess my ass was numb from being spanked so often that it was like it didn't even faze me anymore. So yeah, they started going into psychological warfare with me. I shouldn't eat, bite my nails. Oh, you're a prankster, huh? Okay, so I gotta watch out for you then. All right, I see how it is. No coleslaw for you. Fridge later. Anyway, we watched a few of my older videos from my channel, and let's see here. We also what else did we do? Did a little game with these. Showed off some of my DVDs. What is she doing? But sometime tonight I'm going to be playing. It's not going to be on live stream, unfortunately. I can't get it to run on stream, so I'll be playing. I'm getting a headache just trying to consider that one. Anyway, let's get back to talking about the channel. Anyway, all right. So, let's see here. Yeah, I don't have any of them downloaded right now, but yeah. No, that was downloaded. But yeah, I'm pretty much sticking to all the Bard's Tale, part 1. I couldn't get it to run on stream without being really jinky. I like Winnie the Pooh as well. Ah, I turned that on you. But yeah, there's let's see here. I actually realized when I went back on my list, I completely forgot to mention Icewind Dale when I was putting this, putting my list of the Forgotten Realms games I was going to play. So yeah, it's kind of weird how they got it all set up, because you go, start with Pool, which is the first one, obviously. Hillsfar, which is kind of a side story thing. Then you got Curse, Secret, and Pools. Then apparently they jump to Eye of the Beholder trilogy. Then they go to Gateway to the Savage Frontier and Treasure of the Savage Frontier. And I found out... yeah, I bought it already. I already have it, so... I'm one of those that's like, if there's a lot of DLC, and I'm talking official stuff, not the mods and all that. There's official stuff, I'll try to get it all on there, because I want to play the full experience when I play the game. That's usually why when I was playing, Elder Scrolls, I waited until the Game of the Year edition came out before I'd buy it. That way I didn't have to, they wouldn't have to nickel and dime me. Just pay one big lump sum and just get it over with. Yeah, just to mention to you guys, when we do play, I do play Treasures of Savage Frontier. I was warned that it leaves off on a cliffhanger, and that was the last one that was used for the gold box games. I pretty much played all of them. Yeah, and there's only one of them that you can actually beat, and that's the very first game, because it actually has a definitive ending. I have only played Daggerfall, which is the second one, for a little bit of time, because unlike the other ones, which have very easy controls to understand, Daggerfall has probably the most convoluted controls I've ever played in the series. And of course, Morrowind, they start streamlining everything. But yeah, Daggerfall, you have to put a lot of work into that one, and I just didn't have the patience for it after a while. Then you got Morrowind. There is a couple of side games they have, and I have one of them, but I have yet to play it. And that's Battlespire. Redguard I don't plan on playing ever, because it's not really an RPG. It's an action RPG with, or it's a action adventure game with RPG elements. And you play as a Redguard exclusively. You don't play anything else in it. That's why I'm not going to play it. I have nothing against Redguards, but I want to play what I want to play on a game, not what someone's going to force me to play on it when it comes to RPGs. And although there are RPGs that, like Final Fantasy games like that have great stories in them, and I'll play them, but I actually prefer being able to make my own characters with stats I could put in myself, and basically the games I've been playing. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and open up my Steam and my GOG menu. you can see I've been watching Celesta. I don't know why they're still sending me stuff. Oh, because I have it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be visiting Dungeons and Dragons online again for a while. Because it... How do I put it nicely? The community is very secular. And even though they're trying to bring new people in and stuff, they are very... they get rather aggressive with you if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, I had the list around somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh, I've been moving stuff around lately. There it is. It's over here. Yes, it did. It came out just a little bit after Pools of Radiance, like about halfway between the two. And it was basically you, yeah, elitist. Yeah, that's the term I was looking for. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I didn't put neither Neverwinter or Icewind Dale on here, which I think I should have put because Icewind Dale would go between Baldur's Gate 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. Because Baldur's Gate 3, I'm going to be playing last as far as the Forgotten Realms. I keep wanting to say Fallout. Forgotten Realms. But yeah, you got the Pool of Radiance series, which is 5 games, and I do add Hillsfar to that. And that goes between Pool and Azure. And I think the reason Hillsfar gets such a bad rap is because of the NES version, which you could not transfer characters on the NES. So that pretty much kills the entire reason Hillsfar even existed. Correct. It falls between the two of them. I do believe I have a video about it. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. When I'm doing streams, apparently it really slows down YouTube. Oh my god! Okay, get out of there real quick. Body modification gone wrong. Yikes. I watch a lot of dark side of the internet stuff. You know, and then you got true crimes. I watch a lot of true crime stuff. I used to watch D&D stuff, but pretty much everybody's gone on the same bandwagon of just, excuse my language, shitting on the new version of D&D. So that's their bread and butter right now. And I'm going like, you could just talk about the older D&D stuff like you used to, instead of just focusing on shitting on the current version. All right, let me get down here. I mean, this video right here, there's a bit of controversy on this game. I'm talking about a particular game. And the only reason I brought it up is because I was looking information on it. Yeah, I was looking information on it. I agree with you. The hate videos seem to be really popular. And the main thing I was looking into was, like walkthroughs and stuff like that. And I come across these videos that are saying that the creator of the game was in a lot of trouble for doing certain things. Dragonlance Saga? I'll have to look that one up. Let's see here. Quick look. There, I give a tour of my room. For a while, I was doing reactions to TikToks, and I kept running into trouble with certain ones because they would always put music in it, and I had to do extra editing to get the music out and put different music in. I'm willing to do more TikTok watch-alongs if you guys are interested, but if there's no interest in it, I won't bother with it. You know, I did 2 videos. It was an experiment, and if you guys like them, I'll go ahead and continue with them if you're interested. But other than that, I don't see it. Yeah, there's 2 of it right there. Yeah, it was Grimoire Heralds of the Winged Exemplar. I ran into trouble with that because, well, I didn't run into trouble, but the creator of that game ran into trouble for copyright infringement and a bunch of other stuff related to TikTok is canceled. Okay, well, I was just asking because I'm actually, I'm iffy on it. I'm trying to find a particular video. That was the last con I went to. That's where I overhauled my channel. It's earlier than that, I guess. Oh, there it is. Okay. For 2000, post-apocalyptic warfare. The reason I'm bringing this video up is because Better Command War in Russia. Yeah, SSI, their original. This was the SSI catalogs, and they talked about D&D quite a bit in it. Data discs, okay, because that became their bread and butter after a while. The first gold box games. 1, 2, and 3 is a box set. Okay. On Repair Shop. And of course, I was reading all the other catalog stuff, but the game I was interested in getting when I ordered the. And God, I yap a lot. Tanks. Radiance, Heroes of the Lance, and I don't know. Yeah, this is the first releases right here. I mentioned it talking in here, but yeah, there's Pool of Radiance. This is Heroes of the Lance, the action RPG they did, which I might be playing the NES version, which is the worst version possible. If I don't get the silver box version playing correctly, I finally found a manual for it. So because they didn't provide one this time around, so I might be able to get to play it now. But that's not here or there right now. So let me see. Oh yeah. There was another thing here. This thing right here, those were basically Dungeon Master assistances for your computer. Oh, I do too. I still have my old Atari catalog from back when it's somewhere around here. But I'll look it up sometime. But yeah, I have some back when I had the Atari before it went Harmony. I had I had a bunch of the catalogs. I think I only got one left, and it's falling apart, but I still got it. All right, maybe it's a little further. I think this is it right here. About 11 or 12 years old. No. I'm going through it again. Why am I going through it again? I gotta watch my videos to see what the hell I'm going through. Exhilarating experience. Okay. Oh, there we go. Right here. I actually read the thing, but yeah, basically it says that it mentions Azure Bonds, but it hadn't been released, and it wasn't even mentioned in the catalog until the very end that it was coming soon. So yeah, here's your proof that Hillsfar came first. And another thing I do, if you haven't watched my YouTube channel or you haven't watched earlier streams I've done, I read the manuals to a lot of the games before I start playing them now. In fact, I just got done reading the one for Blade of Destiny, and it didn't help. It has so much stuff in it, I didn't absorb all of it. So I played the game last night, and I put the video up this morning, and on YouTube, and I think I got lost in the town 3 times. The game crashed once, and a bunch of quests started up, but I didn't write anything down because there's no journal in the game. Well, there is a journal, but it didn't say anything about the quests. And I didn't know where anything was in the town. I haven't even left the town yet. I'm still just trying to figure out the game. But yeah, here's Hillsfar, and yeah, it's let me see if I can see on the same one. It's at the very no. Yeah, there it is. And there's the advertisement for the novel and the module from TSR. And I think it's a little further up on the page. Let's see if it backs it. Too far.
Games. Yeah, there's the reason.
Flip the
and there's
page.
the reason why I bought the catalog again, or ordered the catalog again.
Oh, maybe I need to move it up.
Oh, and here we go. They are actually talking about the novel for Azure Bonds.
And that's the yeah, and the video game hadn't even been released yet. So Hillsfar came first after Pull of Radiance.
There's Azure Bonds novel, which I have up there.
Oh yeah, and for those who don't know, I've been collecting all
they're advertising for the game.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, I've started collecting them, and I've actually had donations from people sending me the Forgotten Realms book. I don't have my list yet. Which, by the way, I have the list right here, of which I maybe have a 10th of the book so far. Because as of this year, there's going to be one more book released, which they kind of slowed down on the novel releases, I guess. But at current standing, it's 297 novels for Forgotten Realms. Shut up. My phone's beeping. There's new videos for me to watch. Yeah, I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17. And one that's... Yeah, I got 18 out of 297 so far. I'm actually starting on the first book. I was starting to read them about a year ago, but I only recently discovered that my eyesight's starting to get a little funky when it comes to reading. So I have to wear these now when I read. Sometimes when I have to look at the computer, I have to use them, like when I'm playing some of the games I have to play. The print, when they use words, is so small that I have to wear the glasses to read it. But my plan is, as soon as I'm done with the first book, which is this one, I'm only a couple chapters in, or a few chapters in, I should say. As soon as I'm done with this one, I'm probably going to do a book report. Or the other thing I might do is I actually might read it to you guys. Because I'm deciding on how to do that without getting in trouble. I heard a Greenwood talking about how the novels don't sell, so he even has trouble getting them approved. Yeah, the only person I know of that does not have any issues when it comes to selling any novels. Yeah, because check this out. This is the 4th book that was released, Spellfire, and that's the first Ed Greenwood book. the first three, got a little dust on them. The first three, because I'm reading them in release order, I'm not reading them in chronological or anything like that, or series. I'm actually reading them as they were released. So I'm reading Dark Walker on Moonshape. And then you have the first Aria, I pronounce it Salvatore because it's Italian, but other people have said it's Salvatore, so I say Salvatore. But the Crystal Shard, which is, of course, the first appearance of Drist, which I did not know that was pronounced that way till only a couple years ago. And, yeah, there he is right there, and I could see the problem of why people think Dark Elves are black people. Or either that or he's just an elf with a really dark tan. But, yeah, he's the big seller, so it's like whenever he has a new book out, you know people are going to go nuts over it because of Drist, who's almost in every single one of them. Which he was like a minor, like a side character, I think someone told me, in the first trilogy he's in. He wasn't the main character, it was the barbarian that was the main character. Ed Greenwood, I think I've seen a couple of his videos. I need to look him up again because he to me, I think he is the sunshine of D&D. Because I think he's put more into D&D than a lot of people give him credit for. Uh, uh, there was at one time I was going to do this stuff where I was going to do, I'm changing the subject, where I was going to do talking about the 3 campaigns that I DM'd and how they went along, and I had all the notes and stuff. I ended up having to give the notes back to their original owners. You'd be surprised. If you've ever read any of the original Robert E. Howard Conan the Barbarian stuff, a lot of that was on the fly. He just made it up as he went. And when he had enough information to go on, that's when someone made a map. And of course, he wrote them all out of order, which was common for pulp novels or pulp stories back in the day. No one ever wrote them in order. You want to know something that was really confusing when it first came out? Elric of Melnibone, I think it's pronounced. And, yeah, the guy, it was supposed to be a competitor for Conan the Barbarian, but it became its own thing. And those were, the original stories were so written out of order. Someone that had to do, the original author did some rewriting to make an order. He doesn't? Oh, yeah, because they bought it from him. Uh-huh. Getting thirsty. And I can never remember her name, but the lady I purchased this from, thank you very much. I enjoy it every time I drink out of it. And I'm thinking about getting another one of these. So I can, if I have it in the dishwasher, I have another one to use. I see her periodically at the anime conventions I go to. She now sells at a permanent shop at a mall down a few miles in the next town. And I do go over there periodically, but I'm going to be going there last weekend of the month for a Comic-Con that's going to be there. I got to remember to buy one of these again. Throat was getting dry. But yeah, I was like, going back to the books though. By the way, do note when I have a conversation, I go all over the place. I never stick to a subject for very long. D&D stories. Well, if you guys want to, I can make an attempt at it a little bit later. Because I took notes myself. I did have videos up, but then I found out that the characters that were on there were from a different campaign. And that was the very first one I have, and I have no notes on that one except for the character stuff. After that, everything's a blur on that one. But I gotta look up because I got the miniatures right here of that particular group. I got the wizard here. We have an orc. He was, or half orc. He was the leader, but we used an orc barbarian here. We have a dire wolf, and we couldn't find a female halfling, so all of a sudden this one became a tomboy. And then we had our human ranger, and that was the first group. But yeah, that was the first group. The ranger, or not the ranger, it was the... Was it the ranger? Yeah, it was the ranger that had the wolf. But the wolf was so big he rode on him. Like a horse. And there was a big backstory on that, which that one was correct. The backstory on him that I put on there. Same with him, but yeah, apparently I got a few of the characters mixed up because I thought there was a tiefling with the group. It was a regular wizard that was with the group. And then we have the tomboy. So yeah, I don't know how I got them mixed up, but like I said, that was stuff that happened. I'm probably going to take like a 4 or 5 minute break because I really got to go. And I'm going to leave the stream running, but then when I come back, if you guys want, I'll tell you a story about how the campaign got going. I just got to find the notebook that has the names in it. So, if you don't mind, I'll be right back.
Dungeons and Dragons will return after these messages.
Your dungeon master has placed you in a dreadfully precarious position.
You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created.
Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse of the enormous beast.
It's a product of your imagination.
Survival depends on a quick, decisive move.
Your choices are limited.
Stand and fight, or run.
Use your lightning bolt.
Victory is yours.
Win the treasure.
TSR Hobbies.
Dungeons and Dragons games.
Products of your imagination.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons action figures. A world where adventure never ends. You control warriors with battle-matic arms that fight Grimsword.
There is no escape from my evil dungeon.
Strongheart.
Escape is near.
Mandoom and Metaflame with battle-matic arms and shield shooters.
Once again, good triumphs over evil. For now.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons action figures with battle-matic features from LJN.
Open your mind to new Dungeons & Dragons computer game from Mattel Electronics. It will lead your imagination down a dungeon labyrinth wherein lies the dragon's treasure. Steal his treasure, but make no false moves. For in Dungeons & Dragons, a dead end is a dead end. New Dungeons & Dragons from Mattel Electronics.
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, well, I got the names here. Unfortunately, I can't find the list of the players, so I'm going to have to make fictitious names for them. Reason is because a lot of them I don't remember their names anymore. This was a while back. And I think the only one I really remember was one anyway, so I'm just going to use fictitious names for the actual players and the player characters themselves. Or, yeah, so. Anyways, there are some other characters that came in later, but when it first started out, there was just the 4 characters plus a direwolf. And we had Regnad the half-orc. What was that? Okay, Regnad the half-orc, Lisa Bracegirdle, Lissa Bracegirdle, a halfling rogue, Sharptooth, who was the direwolf / mount, Maynard Darklock, human wizard, Denger, a human ranger. And then there was a few other characters that pop in later. We'll get to them when we actually get to them. So the whole setup of the game was it was sort of a post-apocalyptic kind of setup, kind of like say Wizards or Thundar the Barbarian. If anybody remembers that, Thundar the Barbarian especially. And it was actually split into 2 major empires. You had the Greenlands kind of area. I forgot the name that I actually named the empire. I remember all the cities, but I don't remember the empire it was named. And then you had the empire of the Liches, which was basically it was a wasteland, and I think I called it necrophagia or something like that. But its main capital was Necropolis, which was basically, if you haven't figured that out already, you know exactly what I mean then. But it started off as these 4 characters were all kind of summoned by dreams to come to this one city named Hanan. They all make it there. They don't know each other, but they all meet at the tavern, and they kind of recognize each other from dreams. And while they're waiting there, the last person to show up was Denger and his wolf. The wolf was not TTB best. So what ended up happening was the wolf wasn't allowed into the tavern. And so Denger had to kind of convince Sharptooth to stay outside and underneath the overhang, and just because it's raining outside, but lay in the overhang and not eat the horses. So he comes in. And the 4 characters, they're at different points of the tavern. But they eventually start moving towards each other, warming up to each other. And finally, what ends up happening is, when they finally do start talking with each other and getting to know each other, I let them do a little role play bit. We find out that Regnad's highly intelligent for her half-orc. Because he actually had a 17 of intelligence. And when he did all his rolls, I should explain this first. If if you haven't watched me do my rolls for like the gold box games or any of the D&D games that allow you to change the stat numbers to what you want, I usually tend to take this thing here and take 4 dice. Well, here I can show you here real quick. For those that don't know, here I have it. I'd have my with that out there, but I'd have the screen here, and I'd roll the dice, and I don't see anything here, but I'd take the highest 3, 2s and 1s I would re-roll. This was a 3 here. But yeah, if there was a 1 or a 2, I'd re-roll it. Now that way everybody had a good chance of getting higher numbers. Somehow he ended up with 2 18s, 2 17s, a 16, and a 14. And he dispersed them to where he basically had a very high intelligence. And he, basically he was Odysseus in character. I think the only thing he put the lowest on was his charisma, which became a 12, I believe. No, it was 14. So yeah, his lowest was charisma because he's a half orc. But yeah, everything else was like high standards. So he had good wisdom, and he had good intelligence. So, and he made it that his character would actually try to think things out and basically strategize his way out of a battle instead of just brute force. And he's a barbarian. And then you got Mayor Darklock. He's a artifact collector. He's always looking for particular artifacts to send back to his hometown, his home city of Medox, to put in a museum or put into hiding at the wizarding school. Then you have Dinger the Ranger, and he's got his wolf with him. And we put a whole backstory behind that one, is that they were actually psychically linked to each other. Kind of like in The Way of the Crow, where it's like whatever the wolf sees, he sees. Whatever the wolf smells, he can smell too. That kind of thing. And vice versa. And then I thought that was a cool element to add into it, so we put that in. And finally we had Lissa Brace Girl, and she's a halfling rogue who's actually good friends with Regnad. By the way, yes, Regnad is danger spelt backwards. But, so, those two already knew each other before they were in the tavern. It was the other two that kind of had to warm their way into the group. Then they get summoned. How do I describe it? They get summoned to this huge mountain. It's called Gold Dragon Mountain. You'll find out why in a second if you haven't figured it out already. There's a gold dragon that lives in there. And it's one of the ancient dragons. There's about an ancient dragon for each metallic or chromatic dragon dispersed throughout the world. And I never actually named the world. It was just the world. So, and they get summoned by this ancient dragon. I can't even remember his name, actually. I think it was like something to do... I think it was like a rewording of Gold Dragon. I think I did it backwards, so it was like... Or it did something with it, so there was a mix-up of the words. Of the words Gold Dragon, so... I think it was like Norgon or something like that. Norgod, Log... It was something funny like that. I wasn't very inventive yet. So, they go to meet him, and while they're there, they meet this small group of kobolds in there. And they're friendly kobolds. They're all gold. They're all gold kobolds. and one of them has been missing, and he's actually this dragon's actually concerned for this missing one, and so he has an idea of where this kobold is. His name's Pyrite, and he sends them to this keep to go find him, because the kobold was sent there to go find something, and it's been actually a month and he hasn't come back. So our party of adventurers, they go down there and they go and find him. And when they get there, who was it? Well, they go through a few battles on the way there, because it took them it took their characters about a week to get to the keep, and they run into a couple of bandits and a couple of other things. And by this point, I think they had already made it to where they were second level. I don't remember if Maynard had a fireball yet at this point. I don't think he did. But somewhere along the line, someone had gotten flammable liquids. So they make their, and the reason I bring this up, I'll tell you in a little while, because it has to get there. During this time, one of them collects flammable liquids, and that was Lisa Bracegirl collected it. So she's carrying this flammable liquid in her pack. And so they make their way to the keep, and right off the bat they see that they're going to have some trouble, because right at the entrance is a couple of trolls. And they were given a map of the keep layout. By the way, the keep is in shambles. So they go, well, we got to figure out if there's a secret passage or another entrance. Which they find one, and they use that. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of red kobolds that they got to contend with, which wasn't too big of a deal with them. They straighten these guys out, and they find out that this place is just packed with different kinds of goblins, kobolds, an ogre, a couple of bugbears. Just one thing after another for the guys. And they even found a couple of traps and used them to their advantage to take out some of the monsters. Now, the reason I bring up the flammable fluid, they finally make it to the I guess you would say the prison, the jail. They make it to the jail or the dungeon. And they find out, before they go in, they kind of overhear these voices, and they recognize one sounding kind of like a kobold, and a couple of other deeper voices, and I think someone actually rolled and kind of guessed and got it right that it was a couple of orcs, so Lissa, in her wisdom, and she was kind of warned against it, decides she's going to throw the liquid on these guys and toss a torch in. And everybody, including myself, everybody's warning her that the person the kobold they're looking for is chained up in there. He might get set on fire while you're in there, if you do that. And there's that's a good chance, because it's a small room. And she thinks, oh, I got this. I think I can handle this. So I think she rolled a 2. And basically how I described it is she throws the jar of the flammable liquid in and unknowingly hits the kobold square on the chest. Bottle breaks, splashing the stuff everywhere. It's on him, it's on the orcs, it's on the bugbear. and Regnat's going, don't throw the torch. Do not throw the torch. He's trying to stop her from throwing the torch. And he rolls a 1. He rolls a 1, so, and of course, she rolls a natural 20. And now I'm sitting there and I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking through the monster manual trying to see if there's anything I could do to save this kobold from being set on fire. Hey, Exotic Slayer, welcome back. I'm telling one of my stories for the campaign I started up many years ago. I know I'm kind of fast forwarding through most of it because I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember like the key details. So forgive me for that, guys, if I'm rushing things. So she throws the torch in, rolls a 20, and she was not aiming at the kobold, so she missed him, but he still got a little bit, he still got the thing on him. So she hits the bugbear, sets him ablaze. His fur's on fire. He's screaming. He bumps into the two orcs, sets them on fire. And, of course, the liquid's dripping off of the kobold they're there to rescue. And he starts to get, the flame starts crawling up to him. And I think it was, trying to remember if it was Dinger or Maynard that did the rescue. I think it was Dinger that did the rescue, followed up by Maynard. And they run in, avoiding trying to get set on fire themselves, and they one of them had had found a bucket of water just nearby and was able to go over, and they doused the kobold in it. Pyrite, his name's Pyrite, and they tried to get some of the liquid off of him before it set on fire properly, and they get him out. And then they close the door behind them, and all this smoke is, I describe all this black smoke is coming out from underneath the door. And then they take like a barrier bar and they put it over the door so these guys can't get out. And they're just screaming on fire inside. And they find out this is the one they're looking for, and they kind of realize why he was being sought after. Unlike most kobolds, he's just like the ones back at the mountain, the Gold Dragon Mountain. He had gold scales, but he also had wings. I'll be right back. I'm being called. Oh yeah, they rescued the kobold, and they found out that he had wings. He was gold and he had wings, and unlike the more kobolds that you are more familiar with, these guys the gold ones are more in the line of almost being pacifists. They only fight if they really have to, and they are still kind of in the cowardly department, but they do the bidding of their dragon masters, and so he goes and he says, "Thank you for rescuing me." He is actually expecting that they were going to attack him too at first, but he finds out, that they were actually there to get him out of there. And so they get him out, and that whole thing I think it took about 2 hours for that whole session of just them not trying to set him on fire on accident. And I just remember I'm panicking because if he dies, I got to come up with something else at this point. And so they get him out, and they find out why he was there. He was actually there to collect an orb of some sort, and it was actually a dragon orb of one kind or another, of which there's still several in this world. And so they continue on the journey with him in tow. And they eventually come across another bugbear with a bunch of goblins in tow and a bunch of wolves. And these are wargs, if I remember correctly. Yeah, these were wargs. So they big old battle ensues, and I had to role play as Sharptooth, the dire wolf, for them. And whenever it was the strategy and actions that he did, it was Mark, the Dangerous player, that would have to do the deciding and all that, and all the actions. I did the role playing, the talking and all that stuff. But then, well, not talking, but when he was like, howling or growling or something like that, that's when I would kind of pitch in. But other than that, it was them doing their own thing. So they finally get him out after finding this orb, and they have this big battle, which I don't remember anything really significant happening other than at some point someone decided to it wasn't teleport, but no, yeah, it was Ragnag that did this. I still don't know how he was able to do this without causing me mental strain. He shoved the head of one wolf up the ass of another, killing them both in the process. But yeah, that was a thing that happened. So they finally collect the orb, and Pyrite puts it away, and they start making their journey back. As they're making their journey back, they are confronted by a bunch of kobolds that were members of several of the kobolds they just killed in the keep. Out for revenge kind of a thing. But they dealt with them pretty quickly, and Pyrite even had his little moment by lifting up Lissa into the air so she can throw daggers down and give them air superiority, as he put it. And so finally they get back, and they return the wayward kobold and the orb with them, and that was the end of that particular session. If you guys want me to continue with other stories at another time, let me know in the comments here in chat or in the comments below. I know this wasn't really much to go on. It's just I'm basically going off of memory from things that I do remember. And as things get closer and closer to nowadays, I do remember more and more stuff as things went along. So, and of course, I'm still got plenty of notes and stuff to look up, so I could just look those up to get more details as needed. I think I'm actually going to call it a night here because I didn't realize it was that late. So, you guys take care. Thank you for all hanging out with me. Arts and Carafes, Exotic Slayer 13, Raffiana 26, Tom the Moron, and Akagari 87. You guys, I think there was one or two more people here, but I can't remember. But you guys take care. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream, whichever comes first. And for the new guys, check out my other channel, CRPG Dungeons and Dragons Night on YouTube. And that's with the symbol and not the word. So it's CRPG Dungeons, little symbol and Dragons Night. Spelt like the time of the day, not the person. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Bye-bye.